back, and today we're going to talk about deep sleep because I have a lot of patients that come see me in my private practice. I'm a medical sleep doctor, I'm an integrative sleep doctor actually, in Hawaii and California, and I see people via telehealth. And I put on YouTube videos just for people who don't have access to see me because in the US and maybe in other parts of the world, you can only practice in states that you're licensed in. And I've had several people, actually, I think two in the past week, that said, "Hey doc, what's going on? My sleep tracker is saying I only have X amount of deep sleep, like 3%, 10%. Sometimes it goes up to 21%. What is going on?" And I say, wait. Let's talk about trackers to begin with. That's a whole other video. But basically, they're only so accurate. They're pretty good for wake versus sleep, but for deep sleep, which is also known as stage 3 sleep, it's a non-REM form of sleep, slow wave sleep, delta sleep. It has a bunch of names. The trackers can be anywhere between 30% to maybe 70%, give or take. So really variable. When we're talking about trackers, I like to use them really for trend data. If you're going to change something in your life, maybe a lifestyle thing like avoid caffeine after a certain hour, start a new exercise routine, start journaling, stop drinking alcohol. How does that improve your sleep stages and sleep quality? For absolute numbers, it's only so helpful, I think. Some of the researchers I know don't even think they're useful at all. But also we're a little bit biased because we use the sort of hard science data, which is EEG or electroencephalography, which really isn't accessible to a lot of people. So they're consumer products, and that's what I'll say about that. But deep sleep, slow wave sleep, delta sleep, non-REM sleep, stage 3 sleep is what we're talking about today. And it really gives us a cue into how the depth of your sleep is. And that's probably why it's called deep sleep as well. And starting off, let's talk about things that can actually reduce your deep sleep. So, well, new environment. Sometimes we call it this first night effect. If you're going to a new hotel or a vacation, or you're going to go sleep in the sleep lab for the first time, you may not be able to sleep because the environment's a little bit new, you're not accustomed to it, and that can reduce your deep sleep level. Worrying, having ruminated thoughts. Sometimes I tell my patients sleep happens when your brainwaves slow down. So if you're worried about something, there's something on your mind, you're anxious, guess what? Your brainwaves are going to go faster, and it's going to be hard for you to have deep sleep. Caffeine, right? Caffeine can reduce your sleep pressure. It blocks adenosine, which can help us keep us awake, which is beneficial. But if you drink it too late, or some people who are really caffeine sensitive, such as myself, really have to be mindful of cutting our caffeine levels off at a certain time so it doesn't impact our ability to sleep at night. So think about things that can reduce your sleep pressure, even things like taking a nap too late in the afternoon or evening time. Sometimes you're just so exhausted, or if it was a bad night before, you take a nap after you get home from work, and guess what? You're not as sleepy when it's time to go to bed, and that can reduce your ability to have deep sleep. Well, let's scale back. Well, why is deep sleep even important? Why do we need it? Well, for a couple of reasons. It's when certain hormones can get released, things like growth hormone, which is really important for growing, our metabolism, prolactin can be impacted by our deep sleep. Our immune system is really important to have enough deep sleep to help strengthen our immune system. Deep sleep also actually helps with memory. I'll talk about this more a little bit later with a specific research that looked at something that can stimulate deep sleep and how it affected memory. It was pretty cool, actually. And also the glymphatic system. So if you haven't heard me talk about the glymphatic system before, basically it's the time of the evening, the time of sleep, where the trash collectors come out. The trash collectors, the glymphatic system gets turned on, and it's when the toxins get flushed out and emitted that built up during the daytime. So really important to have enough deep sleep, or the gunk gets built up in your brain, which unfortunately can potentially lead to things like Alzheimer's, dementia in the future. Okay, so we know what deep sleep is. We know why it's important. Well, how much do we really need? So research shows about 20%. The thing about this is unfortunately, as we get older, what can happen? Our brains can atrophy, specifically the front part, our prefrontal cortex. And when that happens, we get less deep sleep, which is pretty unfortunate. However, you guys are all here, your ladies are all here to learn about, well, okay, that's all well and good, but now how do we increase our deep sleep? Because that's what we really want to know. And guess what? Medications do help. GABAergic medications have been shown to increase deep sleep. The thing about these type of medications is as we get older, they're really not the best for us in terms of memory, which is really interesting. The medication, if it helps us get deep sleep, but the doc said if you get deep sleep, it's better for your memory. Yeah, but it has also been associated with things like dementia, so we don't really recommend them. Also, gait instability. If you take some of these medications, you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to use the restroom and you can fall, break your hip, which can be sort of a death sentence as you get older. Yeah, so definitely don't recommend medications really. Brain stimulation, which is really cool, right? If you can stimulate sort of the wavelength, the delta sleep through things like transelectric or transmagnetic stimulation, TMS. TMS therapy is pretty hot right now in psychiatry, interventional psychiatry, this whole field where they do things like that. It has actually been shown to improve deep sleep and even acoustic signaling. So listening to noise, but not just any noise, pink noise, which is background noise for like white noise, but a little bit lower in pitch. And so one of the research articles actually was done in elderly folks, I think above 70, and they were giving them pink noise to listen to during non-REM sleep and then giving them memory tests. And they actually did better, those that listen to the pink noise, which is really cool. So pink noise can sort of stimulate deep sleep, help you to have better quality deep sleep or more deep sleep, which then in turn actually can improve your memory. Very, very cool. I thought this was pretty fascinating. There was an article that looked at relaxing words during non-REM sleep. This study was in Germany, about 50 people who actually went to a sleep lab. They had them sleep once night before to make sure they didn't have any of that uncomfortable sensation, that uncomfortable feeling that would attribute to them having less deep sleep. So they got rid of that. They let them sleep there, and then they did the study. And basically, they told them words like relax and easy. And those were the intervention. And actually, the folks who had these words sort of stimulating or listening, because you can actually hear during your sleep, maybe you're not comprehending what something what you're hearing or what someone's telling you, but they did report feeling more alert in the morning. They had better subjective sleep and also a longer duration or more deep sleep in general. Pretty cool, right? Just by having a recording play relaxing words to you. I love it. Having better mental toughness. So, this was actually a study done in adolescents. And when you think of mental toughness, a lot of the research previously has been done in elite athlete performance, but now it's being used in other aspects of science, which is pretty phenomenal. So, adolescents who reported better levels of mental toughness had more deep sleep and less awakenings at night. And what is mental toughness? So I had to look this up because I really hadn't really heard about it before. It's based on 4 C's. So challenges, commitment, control, and confidence, right? So you would rate sort of these questions on a scale, and those who had more mental toughness, right, maybe some more grit, actually had better deep sleep. The questions were things like challenges usually bring out the best in me. I don't usually give up under pressure. Even when under a considerable amount of pressure, I can usually remain calm. I usually take charge of the situation when appropriate, or I'm generally confident in my own abilities. So people that had, higher mental toughness, and which is sort of great because I think these are things that you can learn. They're skills that you can learn rather than just personalities that you have, which is really helpful because that means it's accessible to all of us. I don't know if anyone does yoga here or meditates. There is some research that shows Vipassana meditation, which is mindfulness meditation, can actually improve the quality of your sleep, right? Helps slow down your brain waves, helps you get more deep sleep. Like helps by quieting your mind. Some of the other principles include like focusing on the present. I'm here right now, accepting the thoughts, emotions, and sensations that just come up for you. Reduces regrets by dwelling on the past, maybe helps you get rid of some of those ruminating thoughts or accept them, and really worry less about the future. If you're here in the present, does the future really matter? Did what happened in the past really matter? And it really just helps someone respond to situations better, which is really great. I encourage everyone to look into mindfulness meditation if it's something that you haven't heard of. There's a lot of good apps out there. Calm is one of my favorite ones. But yeah, look into mindfulness meditation. Exercise. I think we probably know exercise is good for our sleep, but exercise can actually improve the power of your deep sleep. Not one study looked at folks, they're healthy, I think 20-year-old folks who exercise pretty hard for 60 minutes at a heart rate of 150 or greater. And then they put them in the lab and they saw that they actually didn't necessarily have longer duration of deep sleep, but they had better quality and power of deep sleep, meaning they had more deep sleep earlier in the night, which is pretty cool as well. One of my favorite research articles that I reviewed looking into this was looking into essential oils. So, if you don't know, I actually co edited a book about integrative sleep medicine, and the chapter I wrote with Mindy Green, who is a wonderful herbologist and oil expert, is all about essential oils and the use for sleep. And so, lavender, I'm sure lavender is everywhere. It's in lotions, it's in shampoos, it's in, bath salts. You can get them as oils, but lavender oils actually increase low wave sleep, the deep sleep, and also reduce um, alpha waves as well, which are sort of known for awakenings at night. It's pretty cool. And then I also like talking about food because, who doesn't like food? But if you can actually avoid saturated fats and avoid highly processed food, that can actually lead to more slow wave sleep or deep sleep. And then sort of my specialty, looking at treating any underlying medical sleep conditions, such as obstructive sleep apnea, where if you snore, gasp, or choke for air, that certainly can keep you from going into a deep stage of sleep because your brain is constantly waking up, treating your insomnia, and whatever causes the insomnia, but that can also help you get better deep sleep as well. So hope you found this video helpful, learning about what deep sleep is and how to improve it and increase it. And if you want to learn more, please subscribe and hope to see you in the next video. Thanks so much.